Cases in Oklahoma are through the roof. What students need to know before they leave for campus for Thanksgiving. And Georgia gets ready to recount election ballots by hand. Wait until you hear how quickly they have to finish. Plus, great fall weather today, but you'll soon need your rain boots for that walk to class. This is OU Nightly.
Hello, thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Katie Arata.
And I'm Taylor Todd. We begin with the skyrocketing numbers of COVID cases in Oklahoma. New numbers from the state health department show there are over 2,000 new cases today, bringing the current active cases to 21,720. As new cases are rising, unfortunately, deaths are too. 19 new deaths were announced today, bringing the total in Oklahoma to 1,470. Hospitals are overwhelmed with the number of COVID-19 patients, and we know just over 1,100 Oklahomans are hospitalized in ICU beds in both Tulsa and Oklahoma, and they are almost entirely full.
Oklahoma is not alone in its increasing numbers. The same is happening across the country and even around the globe. CNN's Karen Kifa has details.
With cases climbing past the 1 million mark, Texas now has reported more COVID-19 cases than entire countries like Mexico and Germany. The state's medical professionals are feeling the strain.
I think the biggest word is just fatigue. And there's some frustration. I mean, the fact that we are here isn't where anybody wanted to be.
It's a similar situation across the country as U.S. COVID-19 hospitalizations on Tuesday topped 60,000 for the first time during the pandemic.
Remember, our ICU units do not take care of only COVID-19. We have patients who need ICUs. We have patients who need the hospitals. We have cancer. We have diabetes. We have cardiovascular diseases. So that's going to put a lot of pressure on us.
Despite promising news this week about Pfizer's vaccine trials, former CDC Director Tom Frieden warning Americans can't let up on precautions like masks and social distancing.
A vaccine is really important, and the news is very encouraging. But vaccination is not going to be a fairy tale ending to the pandemic.
The nation's top infectious diseases expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, encouraging Americans to hang on.
There's a real thing called COVID-19 fatigue. That's understandable. We understand how difficult that is. But hang in there a bit longer. Do the thing you need to do, and we'll be okay.
The U.S. has now surpassed 10 million coronavirus cases since the pandemic began, per Johns Hopkins University data. In Washington, I'm Karen Kifa.
Doctors continue to say the best defense against the virus is to wear a mask when you're in public and wash your hands often. As the number of COVID cases grows everywhere, we are also, as OU students, are testing positive and going into quarantine.
Those who live in university housing are relocated to Tradition apartments for 14 days. OU Nightly's Madissen Lewis talked to one of the students who said she's surprised at how the process works. Madissen joins us live now with the story.
Yeah, guys, I'm outside of Tradition Square West, which serves as a temporary home to students who are in quarantine due to COVID-19. I spoke with an OU student who is currently in quarantine to learn more about her experience. It's not an ideal ending to the semester.
My roommate told me that she had gotten a call that she had tested positive for COVID.
Gigi Robertson is a freshman at OU, and instead of spending her final weeks of the fall semester in in-person classes, Robertson is quarantined.
I went and got tested at Classen, and it came back negative. And I had gotten a call from the university telling me that I needed to get tested at Kate. And then until I get my results from Kate, I couldn't leave my dorm. My results came back later, also negative, but they still decided to put me in Traditions West because there was still a chance of me developing symptoms.
On November 7th, Robertson was told to vacate her dorm and move into temporary housing at Traditions West for 14 days after having direct exposure to COVID-19.
They had told me that my room was going to be ready at 3 p.m. and the door was going to be unlocked. So I showed up to the apartment that they told me to show up at, and it was literally empty. There was furniture, like it was bare minimum furnished.
Although it's only been less than a week, Robertson explains how while there are some negatives, there are also some positives.
There's not like a bug problem. Like whenever I came in, it was like clean and it smelled like someone had come in and like sanitized the place.
Robertson also mentioned that the university is communicating with her on a daily basis to ensure her needs are being met. For now, we're live outside of Traditions. Madissen Lewis, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Madison. Oklahoma's governor is asking all college students to get tested for COVID before they go home for Thanksgiving. That way students don't unknowingly infect their family. OU Nightly's Haley Wager tells us more about what you can do to keep your loved ones safe this holiday season.
2 weeks before Thanksgiving, and you're probably already thinking about the good food and great company. But this year, it's important to take extra steps to ensure you can enjoy the holiday without spreading COVID-19.
Separate as much as you can. If you're bringing people into your home for Thanksgiving who don't live with you, then strongly consider doing things like wearing masks as much as you possibly can.
Another way to make sure you don't spread COVID-19 to your family is to quarantine for 8 days prior to your trip home and get tested before you leave Norman. Goddard Health Center is one of 3 locations in Norman to get tested for COVID-19. The other 2 are Kate Center right here at OU and ME Labs.
So I have some concern about the students that made the decision to return to campus, to stay in the residence housing, despite the fact that we're online only for education. I have great concern about them, and we're going to be hoping that we can deploy a lot of testing as much as possible for students who come back to campus.
If you are using any form of public transportation this Thanksgiving, be sure to wear your mask and try to refrain from eating or drinking on your ride or flight. Keeping your mask on the whole time is the best way to ensure you won't contract or spread the virus. Haley Wager, OU Nightly.
The CDC and State Health Department ask everyone to keep their Thanksgiving gatherings small, Zoom or FaceTime with relatives to avoid spreading the virus.
And in the midst of the pandemic and election turmoil, the nation paused today to mark Veterans Day.
Sydney Baulier has that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world.
President Trump attended a wreath-laying ceremony this morning at Arlington National Cemetery in observance of Veterans Day. This is the president's first public appearance since Election Day last Tuesday. In that time, the president has not recognized the election results. He also did not make any remarks during or after the ceremony. President-elect Joe Biden and his wife attended a separate Veterans Day ceremony in Philadelphia. And amidst accusations of voter fraud, Georgia's Secretary of State announces a hand recount. President-elect Joe Biden currently holds the lead in Georgia by 14,000 votes. This hand recount is said to be less accurate than a machine count, and it must be finished by November 20th. If the results hold, Joe Biden will be the first Democratic presidential candidate to win Georgia since 1992. And in Alaska, Republican Dan Sullivan wins the re-election in the Senate race. The race was deemed too early to call on Election Day because there were more absentee ballots to be counted. Sullivan defeats independent Al Gross to give the GOP 50 seats in the Senate. The control of the Senate will now be decided by a pair of runoff elections in the state of Georgia. And Taylor and Katie, we've already heard First Lady Jill Biden will keep her teaching job. Now we know the Vice President-elect's husband will not keep his. Kamala Harris's husband says he will leave his law firm to support her career. Certainly a modern-day move. Back to you.
Thanks, Sydney. A nice fall day here on campus, but temperatures have been feeling pretty mild.
And Megan Gold has a first look at our forecast. Megan.
Guys, you will need the rain boots and rain jacket later this week, but right now here's a look at our current temperatures, and you're going to want to get outside and enjoy it while you can. While the warm temperatures will stick around, we do have clear conditions today, which makes it perfect to get outside and enjoy that sunshine, and we do even have some low dew points to keep us feeling really nice outside. Coming up, I'll talk about those rain chances and also what was Hurricane Ida. Back to you at the desk.
With Thanksgiving only 2 weeks away, OU students are planning to move home.
But with the extended holiday break, it's causing some issues from international students. We'll tell you how OU is preparing to house them. Plus, a coronavirus vaccine may soon be on the way when OU Nightly continues.
Some OU students may need to stay on campus over the holiday break, and OU Student Life is preparing to accommodate them. Student Life recently sent a survey to all OU students asking about their winter plans to determine how many housing and food employees will be needed over the break. International students and those who can't travel or have family members at risk for COVID may need to remain on campus.
And in health news today, we have more hope than ever for a COVID vaccine. John Lawrence has the details.
The United States has yet to turn the corner on COVID-19, but
help is on the way with a vaccine. It's more than 90% effective, which is extraordinary and will play a major role in what the outcome of this is going to be.
Pfizer says that rate is based on early research done on more than 43,000 study participants and could change.
I think that likely, based on impact, that will be the greatest medical advance in the last 100 years, if you think about it, right?
The drug maker says it hopes to be able to seek emergency use authorization from the Food and Drug Administration before the end of the month.
It is extraordinary that it's coming at a time that the world needs it the most.
There have been more than 10 million known cases in the U.S., according to Johns Hopkins University. And despite the progress toward an effective vaccine, medical experts say people still need to be vigilant.
There is a long road between actually getting the vaccine approved and getting it distributed to hundreds of millions of Americans. And so we really have to keep up our guard in the meantime.
Another sign of advancement, the FDA approves Eli Lilly's coronavirus treatment for emergency use. This after research found the antibody appears to treat mild and moderate infections. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
If all goes as planned, the first doses of the vaccine could be available in December. Experts say it will be spring before it's widely available.
Norman will be soon home to 2 new community centers.
We have more on what resources the centers provide, and Megan Gold gives us another look at the weather.
Coming up, I'll talk about our rain chances, when you'll need to grab that umbrella when you're headed out the door. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Megan Gold with a look at your forecast. Plenty of sunshine today, and those temperatures are really nice. We're sitting in the low 60s with that low dew point has it feeling very comfortable outside. But taking a look down in Florida and to the coast, last week we were talking about what was Hurricane Ida. Well, then it turned to a tropical depression and now a tropical storm, and it's just a little bit shy of becoming a Category 1 hurricane, but set to impact Florida here in the next little bit. It's hanging out just off the coast, and by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon, it will finally make its way to off the coast of Florida, and then back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Megan. The city of Norman announces they are opening 2 new youth centers.
The Parks and Recreation Department is partnering with the Oklahoma Department of State Human Services in order to open 2 new Hope Centers. Hope Centers across the state provide educational support, mental health support, and help feed the children.
These resources are free to participants and families, but space is limited and is first come, first serve.
And after a 2-month search, it looks like the Thunder have finally found their new head coach.
And I heard he is a familiar face to Thunder fans. Stick around to hear Kolby Terrell tell us just who that familiar face is.
That's right, ladies. The Thunder are gearing up for the next season, and the SEC is running into some COVID complications. You'll hear all about it when we come back with sports. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Kolby Terrell, and it's time for sports. First up, John Berry joins us for an inside look at the coming Bedlam matchup.
The Sooners football team continued their win streak after rolling past the Kansas Jayhawks this past weekend. OU is now preparing for a very different but highly anticipated Bedlam game. Drake Stoops takes a look back at
OU basketball is gaining 2 new recruits today with the addition of Bijan Cortez and CJ Noland. Head coach Lon Kruger announced today that they will be joining the team next year after signing their letters of intent. But for now, the Sooners season starts on Wednesday, November 25th. And multiple SEC schools are postponing football games due to positive COVID tests. Many are questioning how these postponements could affect not only bowl games but also the college football playoff. And with these cancellations come questions of how it could hurt the teams already sitting at the top of the AP poll. The Oklahoma City Thunder's search for a head coach is finally over. Mark Dagnold has been promoted from assistant to head coach after 6 years working with the Thunder. He succeeds Billy Donovan after the team failed to re-sign him, even with an unexpected playoff run from a young team. And finally, someone whose dance moves rival that of my own. Everyone loves the Sunday Night Football song sung by Carrie Underwood, but no one loves it more than Marlene here. And I think I'm going to have to go ahead and practice my dance moves for the rest of the newscast. So I'm going to give it back to you guys at the desk.
Well, she is looking great, Kolby. Thank you. And a 77-year-old veteran experiences COVID not once, but twice.
We have more on the modern day hero when we return.
Nightly, I'm Megan Gold, and let's try weather again. Here's a look out of our Oklahoma City skyline cam. The sun will set here in the next little bit, but we've seen plenty of sunshine today, temperatures in the low 60s, and this low dew point is what has it feeling very comfortable outside. Now down in Florida, we're seeing, last week we were talking about what was Hurricane Ida. Well, it weakened now to a tropical storm. It is a high-end tropical storm, but set to impact the west coast of Florida this evening. And then by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon, it will have moved off into the Atlantic and will stop intensifying. It will lose a bunch of energy and will turn to just what will become some scattered showers and storms off the coast of Florida. Now, tomorrow and into Friday, we do have a chance to see some rain here a little closer to home. I know so many of us so desperately want that rain, and here it is. Pretty much the whole state has a very big chance to see those scattered showers and thunderstorms. First round will move through on Friday evening, and then Friday overnight. The second round will move through and just over a fourth of an inch for Oklahoma City. Very, very good news for those drought conditions. I know so many of us are worried about that, but this is what you can expect for those rainfall totals. Lows overnight tonight, we'll see the 40s, and look at the big temperature swing from Idabel up to Guyman, 27 degrees. They're below freezing, but these temperatures are pretty average for this time of year. But now tomorrow, as you head out the door, you can expect plenty of sunshine. We'll see temperatures in the 40s and then warming up into the 60s. But we do have a chance for a couple cold fronts to move through here in the next couple of days. But overall tomorrow, we're going to see those temperatures well above average for this time of year. But then as that cold front moves through, it's going to bring us that rain. And that 7-day shows how that cold front will impact those temperatures. You can see by Friday, we're really going to drop those temperatures. And then just a little bit on Sunday when that second front moves through. But overall, plenty of sunshine for the rest of the week. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Megan. And now let's get a look at our latest news with Deyton Deller.
I'm Deyton Deller at the OU Nightly Update Desk. In honor of Veterans Day today, Oklahoma City leaders unveiled the new Oklahoma Medal of Honor Memorial at the Manuel Perez Park this morning. The park was named after Manuel Perez Jr., an Oklahoma City soldier who earned the Medal of Honor in 1945 after battle in the Philippines. City officials say the park is dedicated to every Oklahoman who has earned the award. The grand opening for the park is scheduled for 2021.
The risks for severe illness and even death from COVID-19 increases with age.
Which is why is it amazing that a 77-year-old veteran has fought off the awful virus not once, but twice. John King of Michigan spent 3 months in the hospital. One of those months was spent in the ICU, where a doctor told him he would not survive. Despite the odds being against him, King won his battle with the virus and kept a positive attitude through it all.
And on behalf of OU Nightly, we would like to thank our veterans and wish them a happy Veterans Day. We can't thank you enough for all that you do.
Join us tomorrow live at 4:30.
Have a good evening.
Good night.